Emmerdale is in 10th place in my soap opera rankings for April 2022. It is the most boring of all 11 soap operas in this rankings, and that is why it is so low. There's only two things you get with Emmerdale, and I'm kind of repeating myself because I've been saying this for months. There's only two flavors of Emmerdale right now. You either get the Mina storyline, which is just fucking ridiculous, and it's not good, and it's trash writing. Or you get everything else on the show, which is boring. There's nothing in between. You either get over-the-top Mina, which sucks, or you get a bunch of boring shit, which also sucks. So that's why Emmerdale is in 10th place. Not even close to being in last place, though, because as I said in my Days of Our Lives video, that's just unwatchable mess. At least Emmerdale has some positives. The same positives kind of being the same thing I touched upon for March. That being the stroke storyline with Marlon having a stroke. We're getting his recovering now. I just think they've done a really good job of this storyline. They've really humanized Marlon. And, you know, I've talked a lot of shit about the Dingles over these past several months when I've done Emmerdale videos and how they're kind of caricatures. So, you know, humanizing a Dingle, kind of hard on Emmerdale. But they've done a good job with that when it comes to Marlon. So him going through the stroke has been rough to watch. The acting's been great. And so that's definitely still been the positive of Emmerdale in April like it was in March. Now, before we get to the meanest shit, there's also been, they've kind of brought the Jamie Tate storyline back in here, where everyone's thought Jamie was dead, but he really was alive, and he, just to really see his child, keeping his being alive secret from everyone else. But Gabby has discovered that he might indeed be alive. Now, she's told Dawn about this, but they've decided to keep it to themselves. They're not going to tell Kim, his mother, that Jamie might be alive. So I'm glad they came back to this story, tying up a little bit of loose ends, kind of keeping it alive. I don't know if the show actually intends to bring Jamie back on screen or not anytime soon. But the fact that they're building this up, that they're not telling Kim, and everyone's still keeping this from Kim, including Jamie himself, obviously, makes me think that maybe they're building to Kim finding out at some point. But I did like that they came back to this. Now, outside of that, there's really nothing interesting on Emmerdale in April to talk about other than Mina. I completely hate how they have written this Mina storyline and how they've kind of just made, obviously they've made Mina a cartoon villain and over the top. But if anybody's watched any of my soap opera videos over the past 7 months, they should know I hate when soaps have to dumb other characters down to make another character work. Especially they do this a lot with villains, and Mina is one of those villains that they've had to dumb everyone else down to prop her up as some kind of over-the-top mastermind when she's really just an immature brat. Like, her being this immature brat serial killer has been so dumb to me. I can't grasp how anyone has actually enjoyed this storyline even a little bit. Like, I kind of get the fact that maybe people only like this storyline, if anybody even likes it. But maybe people have only liked this storyline because the rest of the show has been so goddamn boring, is the only thing I see. That's why people might like it. But I find this story to just be terrible. It's terrible. So Mina's going to trial here. But somehow Mina, this brat, can convince people like guards in prison to be on her side and can somehow take an entire court hostage. This was so dumb that Mina was able to take the entire courtroom hostage while she's on trial. How fucking stupid is everybody on this show to let this happen? Apparently very fucking stupid. Like, I guess they just really had to continue to drag this story out because they have nothing else going on this fucking program. So they had to continue the Mina storyline where she takes Manpreet hostage in the court and is threatening to kill her and making this big old fucking show like the cartoon villain that she is. It was awful shit to me, and that's why Emmerdale's in 10th place, because you either get a bunch of boring television or you got this obnoxious Mina storyline that just won't end, although it seems to finally be coming to an end because Mina was finally sentenced after taking the court hostage. It was ridiculous. I found the whole thing so absurd that Mina is this cartoon villain and everybody else is so dumb around her that she's able to take a courtroom hostage despite being this serial killer. Ridiculous. So yeah, that about sums up Emmerdale. It's in 10th place in my rankings. I don't know where it goes from here because they have a bunch of boring shit going on and the Mina nonsense is coming to an end. Although I think it could improve in my view with the Mina story coming to an end because I've hated the Mina storyline and that's why Emmerdale has gotten so low to me. But I still think they need to find some more storylines that are entertaining because the Marlon Stroke storyline is good and all. But I think the show could use a whole lot of other storylines as well.